Monday. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to Cooped Up Live, should I say. It's been a minute. I have been all over the place lately, and I apologize. And as the title of this episode says, settling in, actually with a question mark instead of an exclamation or a period, though. So I'm trying to figure out our new schedule, how things are working out. Life is just very different these last couple of weeks than they've been for quite a while. So we're figuring it out. While I'm waiting on folks to join, don't forget that coopedup.com is my website. You can visit that at any time. I'm Cooped Up is my handle in all the social places with a follow, particularly if you're on the Instagrams and wherever you watch or listen to this. Be sure to click on the bell, the subscribe button, whatever it is called, so that you don't miss a minute of it. We're on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and then rebroadcast in audio format on most of the major podcasting platforms. Hey, Mama, how you doing? It's been exactly a week since I said that last. Man, let me tell you, the last couple of weeks, I have had every intention of coming live, and then I think I've only been successful on the Mondays. So at this point, Monday is the day. We'll see. I don't know how it's all going to work out, but so just when I thought that our schedule was settled in and I figured out how we're going to get over to Lakewood and back for Mason's school and get Claire to school at the Kessler School's new campus and all that kind of stuff, there is a twist thrown into the mix. So Mason's new school is a college prep school, and they do a block schedule. So they have green days and blue days, A schedule, B schedule, basically. And those alternate, but they don't alternate exactly. So every Friday they have all, so on A days, they have a certain 4 classes. On B days, they have 4 classes. And then on Fridays, they have all of them, but they have them in real quick order. Just, it's kind of like a review day, catch-up day, touch base day, that kind of thing. And like this week, today is a green day, tomorrow is a blue day, Wednesday is a green day, Thursday is a blue day. But if next week were a normal week, which it's not, it's Labor Day, bad example, but just say it were a normal week, it wouldn't be green, blue, it would be blue, green. It's like it alternates, but then it alternates within the week as well. And as an added thing, because Mason is in athletics, he does not have to stay for PE. And so he effectively, I can pick him up on green days as early as 1:20, I believe was the time. 1:15, 1:20, something like that. Because he starts lunch at 1:15. And so his lunch and then the rest of his day is the athletics period. But because he has practices at 6 a.m. before school, they don't make on season. Is that the right thing? On season, off season. Yeah, the opposite of off season would be on season. On season athletes, they don't have to go to in-school PE if they're already doing it. So like I picked up Mason today at about 1:30, and it was great. We went and grabbed lunch and all of that. It actually helps my schedule a lot because Claire and Mason both get out at the exact same time in very, very different parts of town. And Todd was going to have to pitch in to pick up a couple of days a week too. He still is going to have to, but this frees up a lot of that. However, because of the way it bounces, I'm going to have to go in and just make a schedule of all the green days, because it's only green days that do that. And figure out what days. And he technically can stay. He just goes into a study hall or whatever. Lunch, he can have lunch there and go into a study hall, library, the commons, that kind of thing. So he's not going to get it where he's off every day. But anyway, so just trying to get all that figured out. And then I don't know if I told y'all, but at the new campus, so if you're new here, which I don't believe any of you are, if you're new here, I've been working for the last 4 years on relocating my kids' school campus. It's not Mason's school anymore, but Claire's still there. And the renovation, we finally finished it, mostly finished it, got certificate of occupancy, all of that. Started there about a week and a half ago. Started up the air conditioner systems, and they said, nope, wrong. Much, much, much money later in time and heat wave. They're all mostly online. We have one that still we're waiting on a part for. But Todd's like, what are you going to do with yourself? And I'm like, I don't know. Like literally, it's been like I've been running on adrenaline all this time. I don't know what to do next. But I will tell you this: our weekends are. I was just kind of calendaring out, planning what's coming up. Our weekends are already starting to book up, like months out. Like it's crazy. So this weekend is Labor Day weekend. Mason has his very first cross country match on Saturday morning out in Haltom City. I'm becoming that sports parent that I never thought I would be. And then the following weekend, we're going to San Antonio because Claire has her very first roller derby bout. They call them bouts, but I think I don't know if the bout is the individual game and then it's part of a bigger thing. I'm still learning the terminology on that one, but we're going down to San Antonio for that. The following weekend, my sister is coming up here to visit us. The following weekend after that, Todd's out of town. I think he's in California. The weekend after that's his birthday. The weekend after that, we're already well into October. It's crazy. And then the bouts are also starting for roller derby. It's like once a month, we got to go out of town. So I've got one on the schedule. What did I write down? Oklahoma City on October 15th, which is a Sunday randomly. And then there's another one in Conroe in November. So I did not see this in my future. Had you said 2 years ago, Cooper? Yes. Mike is saying, I don't understand why they have events on holiday weekends. Sterling School does the same thing. I know. I was very irritated by it. What my hope is, so does this make me a bad parent? If you have to ask the question, the answer is always yes, it does. Does this make me a bad parent? I'm kind of hoping that rather than driving all the way out to Haltom City, which I believe is somewhere northwest of Fort Worth, so probably a good hour drive from here, I think that I'm wondering if the school is going to want us to drop them off at school and they transport together. Because I also think let me look at my calendar. I think that the match starts at like 7 a.m. or something. Yes, 7 a.m. in Haltom City. Happy Saturday morning. Eric, that may have just answered the question you asked me earlier about if we wanted to go to dinner this weekend or what night. But I'm hoping that the school is like, hey, let's bring them to the school and we'll all ride together. And then you can just pick them up afterwards. Because 7 a.m. in Haltom City. And then the good news is I don't believe that cross-country matches last all that long. I think that we would be home by like 10, 11. So y'all are all telling me Haltom City is northeast of Fort Worth? Like Grapevine? Is that northeast of Fort Worth? I think Grapevine is northeast. Oh, maybe it's not as far as I thought it was. They'd have to be on the bus by 5. I know that. Is that even worse than getting up and just speeding in the car up there? But yeah, the whole weekend thing, or not weekend thing, the holiday weekend thing, because Todd wanted to go RVing this weekend. And then it's like this pops up and that all these things start popping up. So anyway, but yeah, so Mason has his first match this weekend. Claire has her first match the following weekend. None of them are in Dallas. Yay. So Friday was quite an adventure here. So for our school, as if I don't have enough to do, we volunteered or we were asked to, and we said yes, to hosting our school's annual fund kickoff in our home from 5 to 7 on Friday. It was like a happy hour, get to know a lot of the new families at our school, talk about the annual fund. If you don't know what an annual fund is, it's what every private school does. It's it's fundraising in addition to tuition and all that kind of stuff to pay for, just like SMU does it also. It's very, very common. That terminology, annual fund, is what it is called. So we had that. Well, I agreed to that back in like April or May, so that it'd be on the calendar and planned. And then we thought the school would be finished well before that. So all of that came to a head. Meanwhile, our friend Steven dies of colon cancer, and he died in June, and they had the celebration. So we got the invitation to the celebration of life. It was on Friday afternoon also. So Friday afternoon was a crazy day. So his celebration of life was at 2:00, and it was in Highland Park. It was at the Universal Unitarian, whatever that religion is called. Beautiful venue. Chapel. I don't know what they call it either. But it's right there by Highland Park Village, if you're familiar with the area. So from there, so that was at 2. It went until 3:30. We were supposed to pick up Mason at 3:30 in Lakewood. So it ran long. And so and you can't get up in the middle of a funeral, right? You just walk out because your kid needs to be picked up from school. I mean, how noticeable is that? Also, if it's someone that you haven't really seen all that much in later years, it looks like you're a jerk. So both of us were kind of like, oh, I mean, we were happy to be there. We were happy to do this big send off, all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, I was like, ugh, like trying to juggle all these things. So we raced across Dallas to Lakewood, which is not easy to do. I may have like popped a curb a couple of times, ran a light that was maybe light pink instead of yellow. And then picked up Mason. We were late, like 20 minutes late to get him. Fortunately, he just hung out in the commons or the library or something. Turned around and then hauled ass back to Oak Cliff where we live. And all told, that was about an hour of driving. And it probably should have been a lot more than an hour. I definitely was breaking some laws on the way home. But we get home at about 4:30. The party starts at 5. Fortunately, it was a party that we didn't actually have to do a lot of the logistics for, and we had already had a meeting earlier in the week for. So we just kind of walked in, and I'd given the caterers the door code, the party planner, all that stuff. So it was all set up and ready to go. I walk in, got a glass of wine, ate some food so that I would be sure to get some food in my system beforehand, and we were off. And it was the best kind of party. I was in bed by 9:15. Like, I love a party at my house where people come to me, we have a good time for a couple of hours, and then they all leave. And then especially if it's catered or you have a house manager, which we did, they clean up afterwards. So your house gets returned exactly, sometimes even better condition than it started with. And you just go to bed. Like, it was the best kind of party. But man, that was stressful. Fortunately, the celebration of life, they wanted us to wear bright colors because that was Steven's thing when he was going through chemotherapy. He always wore bright patterns and colors and all that stuff to lighten the mood, I guess. And so I was wearing some of my Mr. Turk pants and pretty little light blue shirt and all that kind of stuff. And it just transitioned really well into a end of summer party as well. So I didn't even have to change clothes for that. I was sore the next day, though. Let me tell y'all. I was sore from just standing and talking and all that. I guess I'm out of practice. I was also sore last week. Last week when Claire has roller derby practice on Monday evenings, and immediately across the street is a bowling alley. And I took Mason with me, and he and I went and bowled for 2 hours. First of all, you don't realize how long 2 hours is until you're bowling. Also, I forgot how terrible of a bowler I am. I took it in college as a sport one summer, and I used to be a pretty decent bowler. I used to bowl like 120, something like that. I think I topped out at like maybe 70 when Mason and I were playing. I texted Monica a screenshot or a photo of the scoreboard, and she's like, "Holy Moses, y'all are terrible." Eric is asking, how many guests did you have at the party? I think we counted about 70 people, maybe 60, something like that. So it was a good amount, and it was only downstairs. What we do in our house is we put a ribbon across the stairwell, the front stairs, and we have 2 staircases, the front staircase and the kitchen staircase. We just pull a ribbon across it so that people don't go upstairs. Most people respect it. We did have a party once where some people snuck upstairs and they were doing some nasty in our storage closet, which is where this wall right behind me here, Christmas stuff is on the other side. Both of whom were married and not married to each other. Yeah, it was a little controversial. Nasty friends. It makes for good stories though, right? That was not a fundraiser though, and that was not this kind of party. That was a big old gay Christmas party back. I think we had just bought this house, so that would have been like 2008. Christmas of 2008, I believe, is the year that we had that big old humdinger of a party. Anyway, we already got our first COVID notice for school, COVID direct exposure. All the 9th graders, so there's 40 of them at Mason School. We got a notice last night that on Friday there was a confirmed case, or it has since been confirmed, and it was in classes that the kid was in. Keep an eye on them. The new things are you don't quarantine anymore, though, at all. You just watch for symptoms, and then they asked us to test him tomorrow. So I guess it's Saturday to Sunday to Monday to Tuesday. It said 4 or 5 days later, I think is what they said. Maybe I should reread it. To test if they're asymptomatic, just to be sure. And then if they are symptomatic, just go ahead and try to figure it out. But that took no time, considering we only really started school on Wednesday last week. I saw that the town where I went to kindergarten, Runge, Texas, which all the inhabitants of Runge, Texas could probably fit in my house. So they had a K through 12 single school building. That's how small this town was. It's one of those 3-story buildings that has the giant slide that goes into the courtyard area for the emergency slide thing. But Runge, Texas completely shut their school district down for, I think they said 2 weeks, because COVID is hitting their town so hard that they don't have enough people to even run the school. Like teachers, administrators, it's not even about the students. It's about there are not enough teachers or administrators to safely run the school. So they just shut down for 2 weeks. And I think that a lot of other small districts are having the same. And then I know I mentioned this briefly last week, but Misery Loves Company. Monica's saying we are in a pre-K through 12 building. Oh, so I think that your town, Snook, is about the same size as Runge, probably. Yeah. So I've read that a lot of those kinds of towns are being hit by it. Plano West, which is in the ritzy part of Plano, by the way, which is a suburb just north of Dallas, they had to shut their school down on Friday because their air conditioners went out at the high school, and they had to shut down again today. And they're going to update parents today on whether they think they're even going to be able to open this week at all. So file that under Misery Loves Company. It makes me feel a lot better about our school's air conditioner issues that we had, which are mostly fixed now, but the craziness with all of that. Misery Loves Company. I've never used that phrase so much in my life. What else do I have? It finally rained here yesterday. It was only 5 minutes long. It was a deluge for about 5 minutes. It was the first time I have seen rain in Dallas since June. We left June 27th, 25th, something like that, to go out to California. I think it rained while we were gone in California. But since we've been back on July 15th, when we got back, there's not been a single drop of rain hit at our house. And so that was the first that we've seen here. And but it was just short-lived. The temperature dropped outside probably a good 10 degrees, but the humidity went up so much it just didn't even make any difference at all. Today was a little better. Eric says we did not get a drop of rain at our place. I heard that, as a friend of mine who's in Highland Park said the same thing. And Mom is saying it rained a little there, but didn't register on the rain gauge. Ours was, the gutter was full of water. It was like a deluge, but then it just stopped and it was over. But anyway, it just was humid. Today was a little nicer. I think my watch says it's 94 degrees right now. But it's breezy, which is nice. I can see the trees swaying outside, which is good. And then I will say the biggest news on the list of news that we got for the week. One of the biggest things, success stories, in addition to the party and all of these things, the air conditioners, all this stuff, we got multiple offers. We actually got into a bidding war on the house that we're selling, which was my old office in the Bishop Arts District. We are under contract at the moment. We're just waiting on a final signature. I think we're 40 over asking price, 40,000 over asking price. So I'm very happy about that. We did have some inspection stuff because I've not used that as an office since December 1st. That's when I started going to my new office. And, when stuff sits, so we had a plumbing leak, and it was in a drain pipe, though. So it wasn't like an active leak the whole time. It's basically if you run the sink upstairs, water just pours through between the walls. And they're all, fortunately, the walls are all shiplap, so it's just getting the wood wet a little bit, and it's only while it's draining. But it looks very dramatic and it sounds very dramatic. And so we had to give some concession. So we actually would have sold for about 50. I think we were under contract for 50 over, but we had to make some concessions. So, but we should know in the next hour or two if that is the case. So say a little prayer, cross your fingers, cross your eyes, cross your legs, whatever, that we get that done. And another thing, check off the list. What's the thing? If you want to get something done, find a busy person. I'm tired of being a busy person. Daddy is tired. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I just don't want to be busy for a while. What else do I have on my list to talk about? Been thinking about, Mason has to do these. His practices are at 6 a.m. in the morning over at White Rock Lake. And the jury is still out on whether we need to be there to take him. Our original impression was that we drop him off, they take him to school afterwards, and he just cleans up at school, that sort of thing. That has so far not come to fruition, but the coach has been out of town. Her son went to college in Oregon. And so I don't know if she was the one personally doing it or if it was some other arrangement, but we will see. We will know starting tomorrow morning if that is the case. And if it isn't, because last week we had to stay there and then take him to school and all of that. And it turned out to be a little bit more time consuming than we thought. But I was looking at backup plans today. Like, I'm researching joining the YMCA in Lakewood, the White Rock Lake YMCA, just for the shower facilities. I kid you not. Not even to work out or anything, literally just to have a locker room to take a shit. But both Mason and me, that's proper grammar, to take showers and get ready in the morning. And then I can take him to school and then I can just go on and get my day going. That's weird, joining the YMCA. This is how little fitness I do. I would join a gym just for the showers, not to actually work out. No, my plan is to actually work out at the lake, like walk. So that's at the extent of my working out. You don't get a flat chest by doing push-ups. Anyway, well, that's all I have got for the day. So it's a little shorter episode than normal. Let me look through the comments. And Eric is saying today was considerably better than what we have had weather-wise. Yes. But it's returning. I'm just like, can we get over I don't want to see another one at the beginning. I was looking at the weather and it looks like this week we're cool, but then starting like Saturday again, it's 100 degrees. Maybe it'll be 100, but like breezy, or 100 and less humid, or little cold fronts in between. I don't know, but I'm ready for it to go, go, go. I am also ready for the month of August to go. I just totally did a Texas goodbye where I thought of another thing. This month has felt so long. How long has it felt? It felt so long because if you've looked at a calendar, this year's August, the way it falls, it effectively has 5 weeks in it. So I think August the 1st, was that a Tuesday? I believe it was a Tuesday. So effectively a full week of August that week, just not the Monday. And then this week is August until Thursday. Friday is September 1st. But so effectively, this is a week of August too. And I'm like, bitch, I am tired of stuff. And then also the way we have our clients structured is that we have a set number of hours a month that we work for them. And our formula is based more or less on a 4-week month, which is what most of them are. And so we're like I think this week is a kind of take it easy week. Like, just tread water a little bit. If it can wait until next month, push it, or pre-do the work now, but we'll count it next month, that sort of thing. So Eric's tired of third graders having indoor recess, saying 100 but breezy. I know, Monica, that feels like just a blow dryer, right? So alrighty, well, actually, for real this time, I'm out of things to talk about, so I'm going to say goodbye. I love you. It's important to know you were loved. I love that you watched this. Thank you so much. I do miss you when I'm not able to come more often than once or twice a week, but that's been my life lately. Don't take care of yourself. Don't should yourself to death. No good comes from should. And with that, I'm going to say bye. I don't know when I'm going to be here next. Most likely tomorrow, but possibly not. So the suspense is killing you, isn't it? Yes. Alrighty. Well, the next time I see you, I'm going to have to redo that tagline at the end. I had it down pat. Now I'm like, So whenever I see you next on Cooped Up Live, should I say, I'll see you when I see you. How about that? Talk to you later. Bye.